Michael Jackson went on tour many times over during the course of his career, from the Jackson 5 all the way down to the History World Tour, but he didn't manage to cover all of the songs on his set lists. You guys, don't we wish he would have performed everything live? Today, we're going to be doing a kind of like a fantasy set list playlist for fans, like what the fans really want to hear that was never performed live, that was never really on the radio even. And I'm super excited to be doing this episode with my special guest today, Chris Lacy. Hello, Chris.
Hey, what's up?
My guest today, he has a unique and deeply personal connection to Michael Jackson and his loyal fan base. So, Chris Lacy is a self taught hip hop choreographer whose passion for Michael Jackson's artistry opened doors for him to work with the late Stephen Twitch Boss from So You Think You Can Dance. At 12 years old, Chris was diagnosed with vitiligo, the same hereditary skin condition that changed Michael's appearance in the 80s. Beyond that, Chris has made a name for himself as a music journalist with MJ articles featured on Wikipedia, Medium, and Albumism. His insights have also landed him in guest appearances on the MJ Cast and Brad Sundberg's In the Studio with MJ seminars, and also friend to the show, the Black Jackson Estate podcast. Chris, welcome to MJ Fangirl TV / Club 30s with MJ Fangirl. Welcome.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, like I was saying before we hit record, I've been following your channel for a long time. And I agree with the Black Jackson estate. Like, you really kind of set the tone for those of us that were looking for content on Michael Jackson. So thank you for being a trendsetter in that way, and, making sure that we were eating when these streets were dry. We had nothing. We had nothing, but you were supporting us. So we appreciate you.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really cool to follow your career over the years with your writings, especially in albumism. My favorite articles that you've done is on the Bad album.
Mm.
But we've got to talk about today's set list, our whole concept today, the
Yeah.
fan playlist. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing today?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, there are quite a few songs in Michael's vast catalog that he never, released as a single or performed live on stage. So that's what we're going to do today. Like, those are the rules. We can't use any songs that were official singles. We can't use any songs that were performed live. And for the old school cats out there, I'm sure you can remember doing this as well. When we used to burn mixed CDs back in the day, shout out to the LimeWire era for those that know. We basically created a playlist, each of us, and we got to keep it under 80 minutes. So it's like we're burning a mix CD, and we're putting all of our favorite songs on there, and it's like you're giving it to somebody for the first time and saying, hey, you may know some of the hits, but I want you to take a listen to this, and let me know what you think. And as far as like the songs that were eligible, you could pick anything from the Jackson 5, the Jacksons, or Michael's solo album. So that is the groundwork for what we've done. You've created your playlist. I have no idea what you've picked, and I created my playlist. You have no idea what I picked. So that's what we're going with.
I'm really excited to kick things off. I'm going to be starting with a Jackson 5 song because a lot of you guys know, if you listen to the show, like, I love the Jackson 5. And I'm going to start with something totally unreleased, totally just like very random, but a great song. And I think it's uplifting for the beginning of a show. It's called Buttercup.
Yes, come on, let's go.
Do you like Buttercup?
Oh my gosh, I love Buttercup. Love it. Absolutely love it. It always makes me wonder what could have happened if Michael and Stevie, if Stevie was his mentor instead of Quincy Jones on the set of The Wiz. Like, that's where my mind goes. But I'll let you gush over Buttercup. You go ahead.
No, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, with the whole Stevie Wonder thing, I absolutely love how they worked together all the way back in these years. A lot of times when we think about Michael and Stevie Wonder, we just think about now. Why is my mind just like leaving me on the name of the song? Just Good Friends, Just Good
Yep.
Friends,
Hmm.
um, or Get It, right? But yeah, like, we oftentimes think about that, and it's interesting because they were working together way back when. I believe Stevie Wonder wrote this song and the Jackson 5 recorded it. It was never released. Um, but yeah, it's just a very feel good song. It's uplifting, it's cute, and it just reminds me of like ABC, I Want You Back, like those first four singles. It's kind of like along that same line of a type of a song. So it's good stuff.
No, I agree with you 1000%. And one of my favorite hooks in the whole song, it kind of has that McDonald's jingle before McDonald's is like ba 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 ba. I'm just waiting for like the I'm loving it part to come up after that, but it never does. So, but no, like I love his harmonies. I love the instrumentation. Like you said, it has the warmth of that Motown feel that we love. So, yeah, and just kind of,
Yes.
and you can hear Michael's voice change. I want to say he was like 16 or 17 when he recorded that. So, and to know, like, like he's making that song, and he's also watching Stevie make the Songs in the Key of Life album around this time. So it was just such a fascinating period of Michael's career that I think often gets overlooked. So I love the fact that you picked Buttercup. And I feel bad because I forgot about that song. So I don't have that on my list. So shout out to you for giving it some love. I really appreciate
Well,
that.
hey, that's what this episode is all about.
Mhm.
So now, okay, you got to tell me what's your favorite. What's your song?
Yeah. So my opening track on my playlist is from Off the Wall, and it is Get on the Floor. I
Okay.
absolutely adore that song. And again, as you mentioned, I'm a dancer, so that is one of the best songs to get me out on the dance floor. And in fact, I was at a recital. This was many years ago now, but I was invited to do a solo piece, to go on stage and just kind of be the in between entertainment while the other students were changing costumes and things like that. And man, I just absolutely adore that song. Shout out to Thunder Thumbs Lewis Johnson for co-writing the song, and he just sounds amazing on bass with Michael. And one of my favorite moments in the song is like you can hear Michael laugh after the breakdown in the middle of the song. Like he says, "Get on the floor," and you hear him laughing. It's like that's what I think of when I listen to Off the Wall. I just love the pure joy that you hear in his voice. Like that just it warms my heart, makes my heart smile every time I hear it.
Yeah, there's just something about the Off the Wall album. It was just like that whole period of time, like you said, the joy and the excitement. You could just hear, you could just hear it. You could just hear how much he was enjoying what he was doing. So the next song is, and now you're gonna hear my desire for a Michael Jackson acoustic, stripped down type of show, because a lot of these are going to be slow songs. I'm going to go with Someone Put Your Hand Out. Now,
Ooh,
I hope that counts because we're in the United States and this was not a US single, right? This
that's correct. Yeah,
So I think I can use this. And it was not
I'll let you
performed,
slide. Yeah.
right? It was not performed live, but on the Dangerous Tour, they used part of the instrumentation. But
Hmm.
this song to me is just so I don't know, it's just so telling of Michael's emotions throughout a lot of his life, with the longing and the desire to be with someone or to have that loving feeling. And I think it belongs in every Michael Jackson show, but especially one where you're just gonna strip down all the layers and have him performing as a vocalist. I think this is a great one.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to me, one of Michael's greatest gifts was turning his emotions into music that made the whole world vibe with him. And that's what I get from a song like Someone Put Your Hand Out. For anybody that's ever been to Brad Sundberg's seminars in the studio with MJ, you'll see footage of that song being made during the Dangerous sessions, and that was such a treat. So if anybody's never been, I highly recommend that you go if you can pull it off. Like Brad and his daughter Maddie do an amazing job of taking you on a journey from the time that he started working with Michael to the very end. And again, Someone Put Your Hand Out is one of the most underrated ballads in his entire catalog. So again, you're 2 for 2 right now. You're killing it. I'm also going to bring a ballad. I'm going to keep it on the Off the Wall album, and I got to go with I Can't Help It. So you had mentioned Stevie Wonder. So I was blown away when I first found out that Stevie first recorded that for Songs in the Key of Life, and he held on to it for years, and he passed it on to Michael of like, hey, I made I have this song, and I want to give it to you as a gift. And Michael was stunned. He was like, are you kidding me? Like, of course.
I was at home and he invited me to the studio and he played me the song. I said, I love it. I said, what is it? When are you going to put it out? He said, I'm not putting it out. He said, it's for you. I said, and I got so excited because it's so good, and the melody is so good.
I know.
And I just love him to death. I'm not joking. He's a master. I'm not joking. I mean, I would put him in the same range as Beethoven or any of the other great for now, for today. Because he's way ahead of us musically.
So when it came time to record it, and like I've heard the demo version, of course, compared to the studio version, like it's practically the same thing. Like there's very little difference in it. I mean, you have that Quincy Jones polish to it, but the essence of the song is still there. If anybody's ever heard the original demo, so absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of his finest ballads, and I think I've like heard several people cover it, including Beyonce. So yeah, it's one of the ones like when you hear it, you're instantly hooked.
I was going to say, I actually have never heard that story about Stevie giving it to him and having not used it on the songs The Key of Life. That's so cool. Thank
Yeah,
you for
yeah,
sharing that.
absolutely, for sure. But yeah, what about you? Song number 3.
Song number 3, I'm going to go to something kind of upbeat and joyous. My favorite Thriller non-release or unreleased song from Thriller, Got the Hots.
Ooh, okay, yo, you're digging in your bag. I like this. Go for it. Let's hear it.
Yes. Okay. So with Got the Hots, this has always been to me the song that I'm like, I wish I had on Thriller. If you have been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that my kind of theme song is Baby Be Mine. That is kind of like, it's a song that reminds me of Baby Be Mine. It's like, just like that funky 80s upbeat type of a song. And I just love it. And I would have loved to see Michael do this live. I don't know with the way that the song is laid out if it would have made for a good like a live performance, but hey, a girl can dream.
No. I think that that's a good point. So I can kind of see. You remember when during like the Bad tour, like there would be like a groove breakdown with Greg Gaines and the whole band just kind of grooving, right?
Mhm.
I can imagine, his band, like they'll throw that into the set list, like during whenever the band members are just kind of, just vibing while Michael's backstage changing. And all of a sudden, like if like if you're a hardcore fan and you hear like dun, 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 like you're gonna lose it if you hear it in concert. You're like, I know what that is, So no, I could totally hear that in a concert setting. So man, you're on point. I love it. Absolutely love
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
All right, it's your turn up next.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna go up 1 year to 1980. We're gonna go to the Jacksons' Triumph album, and I'm gonna use "Your Ways." Love "Your Ways." Again, it's another upbeat song. I love the warmth of it, but then again, there's some tension there. It kind of has like the spirit of "Working Day and Night" because if you listen to the lyrics, somebody has done Michael wrong, and like he had a thing of creating those songs of like, yo, this woman did me dirty, and I need her to know about it. I'm gonna put it to a song, you know. But yeah, that's what I love about it is like he's great about turning his emotions into music that will make you want to dance with him, and you kind of forget like the kind of like the tension and the drama behind it. You just kind of get lost in the vibe of it, So that to me is one of the most underrated songs on that album, and Triumph is like near perfect to me, like from start to finish. Like there's no song that I would take off of it, so it's a great album.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Like um the fact that you can't really like you kind of forget, like you said, what the song is about when you listen to it. It's just like a funky, groovy track. Um, yeah, I love that, and I think it would make for a fun time in concert. Like I can take myself back to what was it like? I guess it would be the early '80s, right? If I was going to
Hmm.
that tour, I can imagine myself with my fiction friends also from the '80s because I wasn't born until '87.
Right.
But, I can see us all there with our fanny packs and our neon stuff, grooving,
Yeah, man, I
and I
love it.
love it.
Yeah. Song number 4, what you got for me?
All right, so I'm gonna go to my track from the Jacksons' Triumph album, and that is "Everybody."
Ooh, okay, go on, girl. Let's hear it.
I just love this song because I don't know, it reminds me to me, this song could have even been on, like, the Off the Wall album, like, it just sounds like it sounds very much like the direction that solo Michael was going into. And even though it's a Jackson song, it just reminds me of that. And so I had to have it on here because, yes, the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, that's something's very sentimental to me. And I love including those songs on any of his live performances. But this
Mhm.
is just like the solo vibe that gets me. Okay. So, what is your next song?
Yeah, so you actually mentioned it earlier, and it is my favorite song on the Thriller album, "Baby Be Mine." I've always loved this song, always. So, man, I'm gonna sound real petty when I say this, but I got to bring it up. There was an article I read years ago, and Chris Rock was comparing Thriller and Purple Rain, and he said that Purple Rain was the better album because there's no Baby Be Mine on it, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with Baby Be Mine? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that song. And there's a more recent clip. I'm sure folks have seen it on Twitter. DMX, before he passed away, God rest his soul. There's a clip of him dancing to "Baby Be Mine," and like he is grooving to it. Like he knows the words, and I mean, like, everybody around him is just partying, having a good time. So yeah, what I love about "Baby Be Mine" is like just the sound of it. Very similar to what you said about got the hots. It has that 80s synth funk that just gets you in a good mood, and it just shines as bright as his Jerry curl on the album cover to me. Like that's what I see. So love it, absolutely love it. And man, now that I think about it, I need to do a dance routine to that. And the more I think about it, I need to do something with it. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool because
Mhm.
like you said, it is such an underrated song and it's a feel good one and I think that it needs more love. So, yes, bring some dance routines into the world,
I
Chris.
will.
Song number 5. So, I'm going to get back to some real solo Michael stuff, a little bit more grungy. Um, I'm going to go into We've Had Enough.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Man,
So,
I love where your head is. So let's hear it. What you got?
So I absolutely love We've Had Enough because to me, first of all, like since the Ultimate Collection came out, this was on the Ultimate Collection. It was technically released there as an unreleased track that never made
Right.
it. To
Mhm.
me, this is like one of the tracks that sounded pretty much finished, that sounded like it could have done amazingly well on the radio when it was released or in the early 2000s, especially with the climate at the time. Shoot, I mean, it would do great right now. I mean, it would do great on the radio. It just sounded like a track. Honestly, it would have probably done great on Invincible.
Mhm.
Um, so and replaced a couple of songs on there, but that's for another episode. But yeah, I just love the conviction in his voice. I love the delivery. I love the message, and it reminds me of like an Earth song, kind of like where he kind of did like the messaging behind the song, like excuse me,
Mhm.
the messaging behind the concert through that one song. I feel like he could do that with We've Had Enough at a live show.
Mm. Man, no, I agree with everything you said, and I love how you compared it to Earth Song because We've Had Enough does it takes its time building, and then when he unleashes like towards the midway of the song, it's just like you really don't have a chance to really breathe until like the last maybe 10 seconds or so until it starts to break down and it fades away. So man, I'm still scratching my head as to why that song never made Invincible because like that could have been. I mean, no disrespect to songs like "Cry" and "The Lost Children." I know Michael adored those songs, but that to me, like "We've Had Enough" could have been like that anthem piece that he wanted to put in there, and I think it would have blown people away, especially back in 2001, like you said, with the 9/11 attacks and just seeing how timely it is now, like how we look at "They Don't Care About Us" from the History album. We could still listen to that
Yes.
song now, and it's still relevant, and it's sad, but it speaks to how timely and timeless this song is, despite its underrated status. So I love the fact that you picked it.
Amazing. I'm so glad that you agree because I want the people out there watching and listening. Let us know in the comments. Do you know the song We've Had Enough? Because a lot of us we know it, but like some people, if they're new to Michael, like this is not even on the streaming platforms, I don't think anymore. The Ultimate Collection, is it?
Good point. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it is. I don't think it
Right?
is. So yeah. If anybody wants to go on YouTube, or if you know somebody that has the Ultimate Collection box set, then hey, do yourself a favor, check it out if you've never heard it.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So what is your next song?
Yeah, so for song number 6, and going back to Thriller, the only other song that wasn't chosen as a single, and it is "The Lady in My Life." Um, it's again, you would think a song like that. I mean, just thinking about Thriller, like 7 of the 9 songs were chosen as singles, and they were all immensely successful. But to know that "The Lady in My Life," it's kind of like this cult classic in a way, where it's like if you've heard it, like you enjoy it, and it's one of the few times that you hear Michael really beg on a track. Like I remember coming across a video on YouTube where Michael was talking about making Thriller, and he said that Quincy said like, "Hey, like this is a good take, but I need you to beg for it." So Michael asked for the curtains to be closed to the studio, and like he just sang in the dark. You didn't want anybody to watch him, and like what you hear on the album is what we hear. But he was like super shy, didn't want to he didn't want to draw attention to himself. So I just love the fact that Quincy pushed him to that point of like, hey, like I know you're capable of pushing this even further, so go for it. And then also seeing like just the impact that the song has had in the hip hop community. I've heard it sampled in many songs. Probably the most popular one is a "Hey Lover" by LL Cool J and Boyz II Men. Love the fact that they're paying homage to Michael in that way, and then of course shout out to Rod Temperton, for writing another brilliant song. So absolutely adore "Lady in My Life." What about you?
First of all, I just have to say yes, yes, and yes to that choice. I wish that I had included that on my playlist, and now I'm kicking myself because like I was saying, I forgot what it used to be called. Now I'm remembering MTV Unplugged. That's what I was
Mm,
trying to get at when I was saying the acoustic strip down. Like, is that's like my ideal Michael Jackson concert. So the
yeah,
fact that like I forgot to put in "Lady in My Life" is just it's making me sad right now, but at least I have your show to go to. Um,
that is true.
all right, for me, next up, I'm going to be going with some New Jack Swing, some Teddy Riley with "Can't Let Her Get Away."
Oh man, I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
and you have on the Dangerous shirt today,
I
so
do. I do. Yeah.
yes, you're representing.
Yeah.
So, reasoning number one, I love New Jack Swing. It sounds so fun, and I don't even know if it sounds fresh, but it sounds fun for people now. Like if you go to a party, they're still playing New Jack Swing songs, and they're still fun to listen to. They're great to jam to. And "Can't Let Her Get Away" was a song that I think never got um the recognition, just because it kind of like, of course, Dangerous had all those massive single hits, but the Jacksons in their live show, they actually do kind of like a breakdown of their concert, and they do like where they introduce the band and they introduce the background singers, and they do that thing where they the background where Michael sings like "Can't Let Go," oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, and they do that, and it's so cool. It's so
Oh
cool.
man.
And it just reminded me of like, man, Michael never did this live, and seeing how they interpret it, I wish he had.
Yeah. No kidding, man. Man, you're hurting my heart right now because that is one of the songs that I have on my playlist, but you beat me to it. But I love the fact that you picked it for all the reasons that you said. So, um, if you don't mind, I'll kind of explain, like I'll build off of what you said and I'll skip it whenever we get to that part of my playlist. But you're
Yeah.
absolutely right about New Jack Swing. It is without a doubt, hands down, my favorite genre of music, period, because of what you said. It's like it has like anytime you hear it, like you're down for a good time, and especially with Teddy Riley, like him being one of the masterminds behind the New Jack Swing sound. And I want to say, yeah, it was last year I did an article on this song, and it's called "I'm Sorry, Can't Let Her Get Away, You're Underrated." And what I did was I took a quote from Nelson George. If you don't mind, I'll read it real quick. He said that one of Michael's irritating traits was that he helped those that saw his blackness as a hindrance in the commercial place by running from it. So that quote really stood out to me because that to me doesn't define who Michael was or his blackness. If you go back to the interview that he did with Oprah back in '93, to me, this quote summarizes his blackness. He says, "I'm a Black American. I'm proud to be a Black American. I'm proud of my race. I'm proud of who I am." And you hear that pride in songs like "Can't Let Her Get Away." So I love how you can hear the 70s horns in the background, bam, bam. And then you hear Michael's beatboxing. And I just love how Teddy Riley took those elements and he mixed it up to where it sounds like it's for the streets, but you can also play it at a party and have a good time as well. And another thing I love about Michael's delivery is like his vocal delivery is like he sounds like he's like almost like in a panic, like he's like singing through like gritted teeth, and then he'll take his voice and like be like real soulful. So like when he says "You better get away, don't bang it on me," like all that, like he just sounds so aggressive, and then he'll take it way up there with so much soul. So man, I love that song. It may be my favorite on there besides Remember the Time. Like it's between those two is my favorite song on Dangerous.
Wow, one of the top 3 for real?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's between
Wow.
Remember the Time, Can't Let Her Get Away, and Jam. And then like Will You Be There is like right there at number 4 for me. So yeah.
My next song is, I'm gonna get a little bit more sappy here, going back to the heartbreaking songs. I'm gonna do Fall Again.
Ooh, okay. I like
I
that.
obviously, now I'm showing my partiality. I did love the Ultimate Collection, you guys. So it just has a special place in my heart. I bought it at the store by myself at Best Buy when I was 14 or 15. So, um, but I love Fall Again because I feel like Michael's writing almost about a relationship that maybe he might not have even been in.
Mm,
Like it's one of those songs that sounds so true to him, but then you're like, but wait, who could he really even be singing about?
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of reminds me of like Lady in My Life,
I can see.
or
I can hear that. Yeah.
because it's like, or She's Out of My Life.
Hmm.
It's like, it's almost like he's singing from a place of where he experienced it. So you feel the emotion so deep. But then when you've cut the track off, it's like, did he really go through that? Like, I don't know. I mean, we don't know,
Yeah.
right? Because we're just we're just fan. I'm just a fan. I don't know him. I've never met him.
Hmm.
I don't have any of the behind the scenes stories and tales, but it's just one of those songs that I feel like people that go through a lot of heartbreak and relationships would relate to, and he sang it really well. So I want it.
No, no, that makes perfect sense, and I'm glad you mentioned that though, because that is something over the years when people talk about songs from the Invincible era, especially when it comes to the ballads. Some I've seen some folks say like, okay, I hear him singing it, but I don't believe that he's speaking from like a personal experience. It sounds like he hired somebody to write that song, and if he just liked the song, then he did it. Like I would say Break of Dawn is probably another example where when I hear it, it's like it's a great song, but I can't envision him, speaking from a personal experience and being like, okay, let me bring it to life. So and if I remember correctly, anybody in the comment section, y'all can fact check me if I'm dead wrong about this. I want to say Robin Thicke wrote the song "Fall Again."
Yes, you're right.
Wow, wow, okay,
Yes, it's a song written for Michael Jackson by Walter Offensife and Robin Thicke.
mm, okay.
Wow, that's so cool. By the way, I just stumbled upon from 5 years ago Reddit new footage Michael Jackson recording Fall Again, but I don't know if it's real.
Oh,
So
okay,
we got to
man.
check that out after the show.
Yeah, we will. We will.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because like Break of Dawn is like that too. Like I don't know, you guys, and it could just be because we don't have that background context and information. But it's
Mhm.
like some of those love songs, like you hear it and you internalize it, but then you're like, wait, but did Michael go through it? But when he's singing it, it sounds so real, right? I think
Yeah.
I think we as people in human nature, we just always want to like visualize someone talking about someone. So it's like same thing with like celebrities now or Adele or Beyonce. When you hear their songs, you're like, oh, she must be talking about Jay-Z here. Obviously, because you're like, that's like her husband or whatever, and you're trying to connect that. Um, it's just interesting. Sorry, I went off on a tangent, but it's like,
No, you're fine.
was he
You're
singing
fine.
about Lisa Marie? Was he singing about Brooke Shields? Like, we never know.
Hey, it's very possible. Again, I mean, music connects with people in different ways. So it very well could have been, like he could have thought of like a past relationship that didn't work out, or it could have been, like a situation like Human Nature where he had nothing to do with the writing process, but he just liked the song and he wanted to, to record it. So song number 6 for me would be We Are Here to Change the World.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got me. I had that one too. Okay,
Oh, you
tell me.
did? Get out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so the reason why I picked it is that anyone who knows me, my number one favorite song by Michael Jackson of all time is Another Part of Me. But because it's a single, he did a music video for it, and of course he's performed it live dozens of, well, plenty of times during the Bad tour. I was like, I need to find some sort of song like that. And when I thought of We Are Here to Change the World, being the Captain EO fan that I am, I'm like, I gotta slide this in. I got to. So I'm sure a lot of people are like, man, like you can get out of here with that song. It's just like it's not another part of me. But to me, it's like when I think of Michael, to me, I think his ultimate goal was leaving the world a little bit better than how he found it. And when I listen to a song like We Are Here to Change the World, that's him doing that with his music. Is like, and even with the Captain EO character, like remember, like anything that he touched, like the Whip Warriors ended up turning into dancers, and like they're dancing with him, and then they defeat the Supreme Leader. I think Michael saw his music in that way as well, as like he could, bring some light into a dark world. So to me, like that's such an autobiographical song for Michael of like the power that he wanted to put behind his music and make a difference. So that's why I chose We Are Here to Change the World.
Well, I love that. And I can just I echo those same sentiments. Like I think it's kind of like the theme of Michael Jackson. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like he literally is here to change the world. That's what he was here to do, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And it's a great song. And Captain EO's amazing. And my 2.5-year-old loves Captain EO, by the way. There's a
Yes.
video on YouTube that we play, or actually my husband started playing it when she would have meltdowns. She didn't want to go in the bath or do whatever. And he'd be like, you want to watch Captain EO? There's a 9-minute video on YouTube that has the songs, Just We Are Here to Change the World and Another Part of Me. And she'll watch that and just be quiet. And she loves it.
Ready to turn it off?
Captain EO.
You want to watch what?
Captain EO.
Captain EO?
Yeah.
Okay, one last video.
It just shows like generations. I mean, she was born in 2022. I mean, and she loves Captain EO. She loves it. She asks for it sometimes. Just, I know I'm getting a little off topic, but I just want to show, like, I agree with this inclusion so much because you could see Michael Jackson's songs, even the ones that are unreleased like this, technically not on any album, right? They kind of stand the test of time and they continue to like attract new fans and new people. And I love it.
No, I mean, and to know that your kid enjoys that song anytime, like she's having a fit or whatever. Number one, it shows that she probably has like the two coolest parents in the world. Like, let's just put that out there, right? But then, like you said, like to know that Michael's music is going to affect generations after us. Like after we're dead and gone, he's still going to be here in spirit through his music, and it speaks volumes about the amount of fire and focus that he put into making timeless music. So no, I love the fact that we both have that song on our list, and I'm glad I finally got to steal a little bit of thunder from you. So,
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, I want to say this is a song number 7 for you.
I'm just gonna cross out We're Here to Change the World. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the next one for me is going to be, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, Break of Dawn. Now, I don't believe that Break of Dawn was ever released as an official single, right? Am I wrong about that? Or was it?
I think it may have had like a short promo run here in the States. I want to say it was maybe a promo single out in like Europe and stuff like that. So
am I allowed to still use this?
Yeah, you can use it.
Okay. Because
It's
I'm
your
like,
show.
okay, I'm like, can I please still use it?
Yeah.
I need to include this song because of the fact, thank you, Chris, for allowing it.
You're welcome.
I need to include it because the visuals that I can just see like, okay, Michael going for a costume change or whatever. And then the visuals in the background being like the sunrise and you see like birds chirping and butterflies flying. And so that's why I wanted to include it because I just love the imagery. I love all the sound effects and the layers that song has. And again, like you said, not sure who he's singing it about, but he sang it and I believed it.
Yeah, no, and that's totally fair. I love what you said about the intro because I remember the first time I heard it. I was 11 when Invincible came out, so I'm kind of aging myself a little bit, but not by much. But no, I can remember listening to it, and you're right. It's like I instantly had this image in my mind of like it kind of reminded me of Liberian Girl when you hear the intro. It's like you can see like this gorgeous exotic landscape, and then you hear the main groove, and then Michael starts singing about this romantic fling that he has, and no, it's a brilliant song. To me, it's one of the best songs on Invincible, if you ask me. So no, I respect the fact that you picked it. It's a good song.
I'm excited to hear what your next choice is, and hopefully it's not one of mine.
It might be. It might be. It comes from the Dangerous album. Why you want to trip on me?
Oh, I did not have that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So one of the reasons I chose it, and I don't know, maybe technically I don't know if I should choose it because if you think back to the '93 Super Bowl, like the opening guitar bit of "Why You Want to Trip on Me" before he goes into jam, he did use that. So would you count that as a live performance or?
Nah, it doesn't count.
Okay. Okay. I thought about. I was like, will she let me slide or I don't know.
If
But
I could use Break of Dawn, you could use that.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. But no, yeah, absolutely love Why You Want to Trip on Me. Again, like when you consider his level of fame, which to me I think was his downfall, is like I don't think anybody is built to be as famous as he was. Like to me, he's the most famous person since Jesus Christ. Um,
True.
but what I appreciate about a song like Why You Want to Trip on Me is that he's trying to shift the focus from besides people obsessing over him, we need to pay attention to what's tearing our world apart. So I love the fact that he's lifting us, he's lifting us out of our skin and putting us in the place of someone else. Like he's talking about kids that are illiterate and streetwalkers walking in the darkness, and like there's just so much brokenness in the world, and he's trying to get his critics to be like, hey, like stop obsessing over me. We need to let's try to bring the world back together like it should be. So I love that. I love that quality about him. It's just the selflessness of his music, from that aspect.
I love that. Amazing pick. I'm going to go into my next song, which is going to be a song. You mentioned the seminars before, and this is a song that I have heard stories about there with his voice breaking because he sang so loud. He broke the speakers, and that's going to be Keep the Faith.
Yes, great pick.
I absolutely love Keep the Faith. And my favorite part is just how how encouraging Michael is. And in that moment, it's like sometimes when you're down and you don't know how things are going to be or where you're going to end up, you don't always need like the motivational person that's looking down at you. You want someone that's in the trenches with you. And I feel like the way that Michael delivered his vocals on this song showed that he was right there with me, like
Mm,
with whatever I needed,
yeah.
Like I don't know how to else to explain it, but it just sounds like so gritty, so raw, full of that raw emotion. And it sounds like he's going through whatever the issue is right there with me. And I feel like everybody needs that from Michael on a live show.
Mm, man, and you're spot on with your reason for picking it. And if I'm thinking of the same story that you heard from Brad Sundberg about Keep the Faith, man, that gives me even more reason to love the fact that you picked it. And as a Bible believing Christian, this song resonates with me, especially because again, I think regardless of what your religious beliefs may be, we all have one thing that unites us is that we all suffered to some degree. And I think sometimes pain is the greatest teacher that makes us value things more. Whenever we go through a painful experience. So when I hear "Keep the Faith," I find it refreshing because it lets me know I'm not the only one that's going through something. And if I'm feeling brokenhearted or crushed in spirit, a song like "Keep the Faith" lifts me up every single time I hear it. So everything you said, along with what I just said, perfect pick to me.
You're up next.
Yeah. So since you stole my thunder twice, you chose "Can't Let Her Get Away" and "Keep the Faith" was right after it. So
Oh
you stole my thunder
man.
twice. So we're going right into the history era, and I'm going to choose the song "Money."
Oh,
Hmm.
now that's unexpected. Okay, why?
Yeah. So, man, like to me, he breaks down like the seven deadly sins like throughout the song, but the main one is for the love of money is the root of all evil. Like that's where the main focus is. And when you consider what he went through during that time, with the Jordy Chandler allegations, and you have Tom Sneddon coming after him. I almost said Dom Sheldon, DS, but but just the amount of people that came for him, like there was a target on his back because of his unprecedented level of fame. And then I love how at the end he says, "If you want it, you earn it with dignity." And when you look at what he did as a humanitarian, he's the most charitable pop star in the entire world. Like that's a Guinness Book World Record. So I love the fact that he recognizes how people can misuse money for evil, but then he turns around and does it for good by being so charitable and doing things out of the kindness of his heart, not expecting anything in return. And oftentimes he would prefer not to have publicity for it. So I love a song like Money because it addresses, the pressures that he was feeling in 93, 94. But then he turns around and, he doesn't let that deter him from using money for good. So I love how there's kind of like that. It's kind of like a two messages in one coming from the song Money. But what do you think? Like, do you enjoy Money or no?
Yeah, I actually really like the song Money. It's to be honest with you, it's not a song that I listen to very often, but when
Mm,
I do hear the History album, I definitely like it and I'll listen to it on repeat. Yeah, it's just one of those songs like you said that's really speaks to like his own experiences
hmm.
and it really does make you think.
Yeah, it does. So
So
what you
I
got
like
next?
yeah, I like that pick. All right, for me, I'm gonna go all the way back to the Jacksons.
Mm.
I'm gonna go to That's What You Get for Being Polite.
Wow, you're pulling one out of Destiny. I love it. I love it. Oh
Yeah,
man, that sucks that I did not think to pick any songs from that album. So I feel so embarrassed. But I love the fact that you picked
no.
it. So talk about it. What stands out to you about that song?
Well, I just feel like this is a foreshadowing of a lot of what actually went on in Michael's own life. Like he was so nice and a giving person, loving person. And I feel like a lot of times people let him down because of the fact that he was such a not just polite, like the song says, but just a just a kind and gracious person that was very loving. And
Mm,
I think even though technically, like it wasn't, I don't know what it was about at that time, but if you look at Michael throughout the totality of his life, you could kind of see, like, man, like that is a little bit like, you can kind of see how it could relate to the plight of Michael Jackson in a way. And then also, I just love the vocal delivery and I love the 70s sound.
mhm.
It's just it's a good song, and I would have loved to see him do it live. And I think at that point anyway, like most of the songs that they did live were like pre-recorded. If it was like on Soul Train or one of the TV shows, they
Mhm.
never did stuff without a pre-recorded track back then. It doesn't seem like.
Right. Yeah. Man, again, I'm glad that you chose that song because I know most people when they think of Destiny, they think of "Blame It on the Boogie" and "Shake Your Body Down to the Ground." Like those are the two biggest songs on there. There's another song I love, but I don't want to say it because you may have it on your list. It's not on mine, but I was so close to picking it. But there are several songs on that album. Like it's right there with Triumph. Like I understand folks are like neck and neck of like, are you Destiny or are you Triumph? Because like those two albums are fantastic and That's What You Get for Being Polite is one of the highlights on there for me. So I love the fact. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious now, what's your next song?
Okay. So song number 10 for me, we're still on the history album. I'm going with Too Bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Now
So
why?
yeah, so the reason why it I have to bring up the Ghost short film because I love the fact that like it's more than just the song Ghost and him building off of that. I love how he incorporated other songs from that era to deliver a message. So um, you know to me, the main takeaway from that short film, and I love the fact that you use "Too Bad" as one of the songs on there, is that anytime that you point a finger at somebody, there's three more pointing back at you. So when I hear "Too Bad" within the context of the short film, it's like he's pointing out people's selfish pride, like like with the mayor, like he's trying to make an example out of Michael's character, the maestro, and trying to make him seem like he's less than, and things like that. But Too Bad is like him like kind of sticking his chest out, like all right, let's see what you can do. Like I'm standing though you're kicking me, like I'm not going anywhere, right? And then from a choreography standpoint, again, being the dancer that I am, the Too Bad choreography is right up there with Remember the Time as far as like the most complex choreography I've ever seen him do. And it may be his finest moment as a dancer. So like what he did with Travis Payne and Lavelle Smith Jr., like the three of them got together and they blew it out of the water with Too Bad, just the choreography and all that stuff. So those are the reasons why I chose Too Bad.
Oh yeah, I think that's an amazing one to see live. Like imagine if he would have done that dance live from the short film. Like what?
It would have killed everybody in the building. Like you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know what to do. You'd be like, yo, I'm done. I'm done.
I know, and you know what? It just reminds me of like how people used to love that when the Michael Jackson Experience game came out with the Wii.
Yeah. Oh
People,
my
I
gosh.
wasn't even the real. It wasn't even the real thing, but just parts of it people were
Mhm.
doing,
Yeah.
and they were loving it. And so,
Oh man, you just unlocked a core memory for me because I did buy that game on Xbox Connect back in the day, and oh my gosh, I tried to master every song on there, and there were a few that kicked my behind even as a dancer, but no, like that was so much fun. That was so much fun. I'm glad you brought up the Michael Jackson The Experience video game. So you're a real one for that. I love it.
all right, we're down to our last songs, you guys. The pressure is on. Okay, here is going to be my last song, and we may need some special guests for this, we may not, but it's going to be What More Can I Give?
Mm, good
Now,
song.
the reason is because I just love, of course, the messaging. It's one of those anthem songs, and I feel like it didn't get enough love. I just watched a video on YouTube by a creator named Hannah Savage who did a whole like deep dive on What More Can I Give and how the song was caught up in politics, and that's why it never got released. And I'm like, let me show it some love on my my fan playlist here. So that's my pick.
Mm. Man, no. So yeah, that's a great song. That's another one that again, one of the underrated songs that came out of the Invincible era, and it's so unfortunate that that album didn't get a proper tour because of the 9/11 attacks. Even though Sony was pushing Michael to do a tour, he's like, no, that's very insensitive to do around this time. And but the fact that he did a charity single during that time and gathered everybody to come together and make a song with with his heart in the right place. I think what more can I give is a truly truly good song, and it's a shame that it gets overlooked.
Yes, I'm glad you agree because some people are like, that's not a good song, but it is. So listen to it, you guys. Give it some love.
Yeah. So man, you're right. The pressure is on. So I'm gonna pick a song that most people would not think would be a proper song to end with, but to me it's like a shock to the senses if I pick it. So I'm gonna choose Morphine from Blood on the Dance Floor.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Why?
It is the darkest and strangest song in his entire catalog, and I'll be honest here, like it it's a tough listen. It really is, but I love how authentic and raw it is. Especially during the breakdown where he's singing like the Demerol stuff. Like it hurts my heart to hear him sing about that, just knowing he struggled with painkillers and things like that. But I can hear the brilliance in it. And again, it's authentic, it's raw, it's in your face, and it's just man, and it's probably like the most I've ever heard him cuss on a song ever too. Like I mean, it's really in your face. Like again, I hate that he had to go to a dark place to get that out, but again, I think the beauty of that song is that people can relate to just being angry and not really knowing what to do with it and trying to find that release. So I think that made Michael more relatable by confronting his demons instead of pretending that they didn't exist.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I never really that's a song that I honestly kind of glossed over
Mm,
even from the time that I first heard it till now, like, I never really gave it, that much time, so now you're making me wanna go back and listen to it.
mhm. So yeah, like I said, I know it's very awkward to end a playlist that way with the morphine after all the warm fuzzy stuff that was on the front end. But again, I think like you need to be able to balance out, uh, the good and the bad. And I think that's something that Michael did very well is that he could tap into any emotion and bring life to it through music, dance, visuals, things like that. So Morphine is a tough song, very tough song to listen to, but it's brilliant.
Yes, I love that, and honestly, I've loved your entire playlist, Chris. I feel like it's so good. I think I don't know, I might have to leave my concert and go to yours.
Nah, nah. Listen, you snuck in some great stuff in there where I'm like, the fact that you started off with Buttercup, I'm like, I'm pulling up. Where's the ticket? Like, give it to me. I'm pulling up just on the strength of Buttercup alone, but I'm staying to the very end where I can hear what more can I give, and everybody comes out on stage. I'm here for it. I love
Yes. Well,
it.
I'm so glad we did this. This was such a cool and fun idea,
Yeah,
and I wanna thank you for coming.
thank you.
Yeah, it's been so fun, but before I let you go, we have to play a little round of what I like to call this or that.
Okay.
Before we go into this or that, we're going to talk a little bit about my Patreon. I'm going to let you guys know if you guys did not. I have a Patreon. Are you a Michael Jackson fan that loves to chat about your favorite songs, dissect interviews, and travel to events, but you're tired of doing it alone? Club 30s is where we uncover the greatest moments in Michael's career and we chat all things King of Pop. Join our community for weekly polls, exclusive content. I post 3 pieces of content exclusively there only a month, and live streams when I do them, as well as access to our private group chat. Literally, last night, I was texting the people in the group chat, like, is this a real photo or AI? Because some of those things are getting really tricky nowadays. But yeah, we're just a bunch of fans that you can talk to. You can connect directly with me on there, and it helps us support the show. The membership is $4.99 a month, and it all helps towards contributing, keeping MJ Fangirl going. If you're interested, make sure you're visiting patreon.com/MJFangirl, and I'll see you in the group chat. All right, Chris. So we're going to do this or that. First up, vinyl, CD, or cassette?
Ooh, that's tough. I was born in the CD era, but the older I get, like I have like a whole collection of vinyl, so I'm gonna have to go with vinyl. I'm gonna have to. Like there's a warmth and just like a texture to it. Like there's nothing like being able to flip through vinyls at a record store and you come across something that you've been looking for or something you even know was there, and then you put the needle to the record. Like there's just a quality to it that you can't replicate. So I would have to go with vinyl for that reason. But what about you? Vinyl, CD, or cassette?
I actually love CD, and I'm going to pull out my CD player because I just bought a CD player. Hold on. This is my CD player, you guys. I have not had one of these since like I was, I don't know, 16 or something.
Hmm.
And literally, like you can open it, it plays like obviously CDs, but it's just so cool because I mean, I've had like those mixtape CDs, kind of like what we just did today, like,
Right.
mixtape stuff or the official MJ CDs. I have so many and I never listen to them. And I have a lot more CDs than I have anything else. So I bought
Mm.
this and I'll link it if you guys are interested in getting a portable CD player because I know even computers don't come with CD players anymore.
I
So
know that is so sad. Like again, you and I are old enough to remember like going into a car, you could see the CDs slide in there. You could do the CD changer and all that. But now it's like vehicles don't happen anymore, and it's so sad because man, I remember being able to go to Walmart and get like the edited version of CDs that really I had no business getting, but but I loved getting CDs. I had a whole CD booklet, and I just flip through pages and all that. Like I miss it. That was a good time. It was a good time.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, next, this or that, just good friends or say.
Dang, man, you're hurting me right now because like I recognize the impact of say, and I want to say it's like his longest, like his biggest number one hit. Um, like as far as like the amount of weeks it charted #1, but I gotta go with Just Good Friends because like Bad is my favorite Michael Jackson album, and to me, like Just Good Friends gets too much hate. Like there really is nothing wrong with that song. Like if you think about it, like if that song was on anybody else's album, it'd be a hit. That's my stance on it. But what about you?
I mean, I do agree with your point about Just Good Friends. I think the expectation of it being Michael and Stevie was just so high,
Mhm.
but I love the music video and for Say Say Say, so I'm just gonna go with Say 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 strictly based off of that.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. And keep me honest here. Wasn't the fact that they filmed the music video for Say 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 on Sycamore Ranch, that's what led him to want to buy it and turn it into Neverland, right?
Yes, I think that was the first time that he went there or something
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
and
That makes
then
sense.
I heard later on when they did Moonwalker and he was running with Skipper, I
Hmm.
think that was also there.
Oh man. Oh man.
So but
You
I
just
I
took me back.
I don't know if he had already bought it or if he was in the process, but you're right, the first time he discovered it was Say Say Say.
Man. All right. So now I feel guilty. Now I feel like I got to pick Say 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 just on the strength of, like without that, there
See?
probably would be no
See?
Neverland. Who knows? But no, I'll say with Just Good Friends. I'll say with Just Good Friends.
Okay. And then our last one, the Bad 25 documentary or the Off the Wall Journey from Motown documentary, both done by Spike Lee.
Ooh.
Which one do you like better?
Oh man. I gotta go with Bad 25. Again, Bad is my favorite album, but I love how Spike Lee took the time to tackle that album and just explain like just the amount of hype and expectation that came with it. Because you got to think by that point, Michael's only competition was himself. I mean, like you can't get any bigger than the biggest album of all time. So, but if you go back and look at the songs on that album, if you go song for song, I mean, there's so many peaks there. And again, I love how Spike took the time to not only reach out to the folks that worked on the record, but you can also see folks that have been influenced by it. Like, Chris Brown was on there, Kanye West, and CeeLo Green. I mean, like, there's countless people on there. And I know Justin Bieber had a moment on there too, but it's good to see just the lasting impact that Bad 25 had. But yeah, and I remember watching it when it first premiered on Thanksgiving Day back in 2012. Like you couldn't pull me away from the TV. I had to watch it when it first came on. Then I still have it on Blu-ray to this day. It's probably one of my favorite documentaries. But what about you?
Yeah, no, I have to go with what you said, Bad 25. As much as I love the Off the Wall documentary,
Mhm.
especially because I love how involved like the Jacksons were and how they kind of set the scene and explained what was all going on behind the scenes, like in the 70s and all that, with disco and whatever. I just love Bad 25 because it was the first big documentary. I believe it was the first one after he passed away, right?
It was, yeah, yeah, for sure. Hmm.
And all the behind the scenes clips that we had never seen from like the shooting of the recording of the Bad video and all that. Like, I just love it. And yeah, I just also love the project with the CD and like the merch that came out. And
Yeah,
yeah, Bad 25 has a special place in my heart for sure.
yeah. And I'm sure like most people probably in the comments section, if I mention the Michael Jackson estate, you're going to get a variety of answers. A lot of them probably will be negative, but I got to give the estate credit because what they did for Bad 25 as far as the whole campaign, like you said, the CD box set, including the Wembley '88 show in there as a DVD, including never before heard tracks, like Al Capone and Price of Fame and Free, like all those songs, I enjoyed them. And then including Streetwalker, Fly Away, what we heard on the reissues over the years. To me, it's probably the most complete and successful campaign they've done for any Michael Jackson album. So I got a lot of issues with the estate, but I got to give them credit for getting that one right.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. And to be honest with you, that marketing, like you said, the marketing for that was amazing. They even
Mhm.
had like a I think in New York we had oh I didn't go because I had a test for school, which I'm like I could have just skipped that and gone. But they had a thing with Spike Lee. You could go in the theater and watch it with him before it was on
Really?
TV.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, that was a big thing. And so
Huh.
like they did a lot of different things marketing wise. And I'm like, they better roll out all the stops that they did for Bad 25 plus 10 times more for this biopic. Even though it's not Michael,
Man,
but it's
yeah.
Michael. It's not Michael, but it's Michael.
Exactly, and again, I have this memory. It could have been around the time of Bad 25. It may have been after, but I remember seeing like they brought back the Pepsi cans and they had like an outline of Michael, whether it was Smooth Criminal or when he's holding his arms out with the beaded jacket on during the Bad tour. Like they had those on the Pepsi cans, and I'm like, man, like this whole rollout, marketing and just a lot of thought got put into it. So again, I am appreciative of the fact that the estate got that one right for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our round of this or that. Chris, it has been so much fun. Please promise you'll come back to the show
Yes.
at some
I
point.
would love to. I would love to. Absolutely. If I'm invited back. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. No, definitely. You've got to come back. This was a lot of fun. And I think as fans, we don't talk about, like, there's so much to talk about, but then it's really great to, like, focus in on the music.
Mhm.
And I think that was what was accomplished today. I hope everyone walked away with a couple songs that they want to listen to that they've never heard before, or maybe that they want to re-listen to that they haven't heard in many years. I know there's a couple on Chris's playlist that I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back and listen to that. So thank you guys so much for joining. Chris, if they want to find you online, where can they find you?
Yeah, great question. I'm on Facebook, ChrisLacy. I'm also on Twitter at Chris Lacy 0215. And then Instagram is Chris Lacy 1990. And again, you can find me on any of those platforms. I'm always down to talk about Michael Jackson, so hit me up anytime.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you're subscribing to the YouTube channel, MJ Fangirl TV. Listening to this, you can listen on any platform for your podcasts out there, including Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music. And until next time, see you later. Bye.